My dear friend, let me invite you into my morning, a morning that has stretched itself across almost a century of living, a morning that still feels as fresh and full of promise as the day I first realized how powerful the start of each day can be, because here I am, 94 years old, living alone, yet stronger, happier, and in many ways healthier than people who could be my grandchildren. And the secret is not magic, nor some expensive routine, but rather the gentle power of 5 simple habits that have shaped my mornings into something sacred, something healing, something that keeps me grounded in a body that has carried me through decades of joy and sorrow, love and loss, struggles and triumphs. And today I want to take you by the hand and walk you through these habits, not as a lecture, but as a story, a sharing from my heart to yours, because maybe you too are searching for that spark, that gentle reminder that health, energy, and joy are not reserved only for the young, but can be cultivated at any age if only we learn how to begin each morning with intention. And so, let me tell you, my mornings always begin not with noise or rushing, but with stillness. The kind of stillness that reminds me that waking up is itself a miracle, that every breath I take is another chance. And before I even rise from bed, I thank the day for arriving. I thank my body for carrying me here. I thank life for continuing to unfold before me. And with that gratitude, I slowly move. I stretch my arms. I let my joints awaken. I roll my shoulders gently, because the truth is, at my age, stiffness is real. Aches and pains do come. But I have learned that if I treat my body with kindness from the moment I wake, it responds by giving me strength throughout the day. So my first habit is movement, not the kind that leaves you gasping or exhausted, but soft, intentional stretching that tells my bones and muscles that they are still alive, still needed, still strong. And as I lift my arms toward the ceiling, as I rotate my neck and loosen my hips, I feel circulation return. I feel warmth spread through me. And I smile because even after nearly a century, my body still answers when I ask it to move. And that fills me with gratitude. Because health is not about perfection. It is about participation, about showing up for yourself in the smallest of ways. And stretching is my way of saying yes to the day ahead. But movement alone is not enough, which is why my second habit is water. Something so simple yet so often overlooked. Because you see, after a night of rest, the body is thirsty. The cells are waiting to be nourished. And I have found that drinking a full glass of water as soon as I rise is like giving my body a gift, a signal that today we begin with clarity, with cleansing, with refreshment. And as the cool water slides down my throat, I feel awakened from the inside. My digestion thanks me. My mind clears. My skin brightens. And I can almost hear my body whispering, "Thank you. Thank you for remembering me. Thank you for this kindness." And I know many people half my age who rush to coffee before they even hydrate. But I tell you, nothing replaces the purity of water in the morning. It is the simplest medicine we have, and it has kept me vibrant far longer than anyone expected. And then comes my third habit, perhaps my favorite, and that is breakfast. But not the heavy, greasy breakfasts of old times, not the kind that leaves you sluggish, but a breakfast that is light, nourishing, and full of life. Because at 94, food is not just about taste, it is about medicine. It is about feeding not only the body, but also the mind. So I prepare a simple bowl of oats, sometimes with berries if they are in season, sometimes with nuts and seeds that crunch softly between my teeth, and occasionally a boiled egg for strength. Because protein matters no matter your age, and as I eat, I remind myself that this small ritual is more than just a meal. It is an act of self-respect, a promise to myself that I will give my body the best I can so it can give back to me. And over the years, I have seen the difference. I have outlived friends and companions, not because I am lucky, though luck does play its part, but because I have treated food as a gift, not as a burden, and I have chosen nourishment over indulgence. And as I sit at my wooden table with the sunlight falling across my plate, I smile and know that this quiet breakfast is one of the anchors of my health. But even food cannot sustain us without something deeper, and that is why my fourth habit is perhaps the most important of all. The feeding of the mind and spirit, because you see, my dear, at this stage of life, I have learned that health is not only measured by strong bones or a beating heart, it is measured by peace of mind, by the steadiness of your spirit. And so every morning I take time to sit quietly. Sometimes I read a book, sometimes I pray, sometimes I simply close my eyes and breathe in the silence. And in that stillness I find strength greater than any medicine, because it is here that I remind myself of gratitude. I remember the faces of those I have loved. I give thanks for the chance to see another day, and I whisper to myself that life is still beautiful even with its losses, even with its aches, even with its inevitable changes. And this practice has given me a calmness that no storm can shake. It has lowered my stress, lifted my heart, and filled me with joy that radiates outward. And people often say to me, "You are always so peaceful, so happy. What is your secret?" And I smile and say, "My secret is that I take time every day to feed my soul, because the body without the soul is incomplete, and the soul without peace cannot carry the body very far." And finally, after stretching, hydrating, nourishing, and centering myself, I step outside for my fifth habit, a morning walk. A simple act, yet one of the most powerful, because the air outside is alive in a way that the air inside never is. It is filled with birdsong, with the laughter of children, with the scent of trees and flowers. And as I walk slowly through my neighborhood, sometimes with a cane, sometimes without, I greet my neighbors. I watch the sky shift from pale blue to golden light. I feel the ground steady beneath my feet. And in those steps I remember that life is meant to be lived, that even at 94 I am still a part of this world, still connected, still moving forward, and the walk keeps my legs strong, my lungs clear, my heart pumping, and it also keeps me from feeling isolated, because the truth is, living alone can sometimes feel lonely. But when I step outside, I remember that I am never truly alone. I am surrounded by life in all its forms, and this connection is just as important as the physical exercise. And so, these 5 habits, stretching, hydrating, eating well, nurturing the spirit, and walking, have been my companions for decades, and they are the reason I am here today, speaking to you with energy and clarity, the reason I can live independently, the reason I smile when others my age are bedridden or weary, and I do not say this with pride, but with humility, because I know how precious health is, how fragile it can be, and I know that at any moment life can change. But I also know that the small choices we make each day shape the quality of our years. And if there is one thing I want you to take from my story, it is this: it is never too late to begin. Never too late to stretch a little, to drink more water, to choose a nourishing breakfast, to sit quietly with your thoughts, or to step outside and walk beneath the sky. Because these habits are not about age, they are about life itself. And if a 94-year-old living alone can find strength, peace, and joy through them, then so can you. And perhaps, just perhaps, if you start today, one day you too will find yourself at 94, smiling into the morning light, healthier than those half your age, grateful for the gift of another sunrise, and ready once again to begin.